Okay, let's review. You know that technology can improve performance in things like golf clubs. You agree that it might be possible to design a better brass mouthpiece, and you have seen the results firsthand in Carol and Bobby's playing, although the wedge didn't work for you the way it did for them. But you think that rather than using the wedge, Carol and Bobby should just practice more?
That's right. You are a very good listener, Dr. Dave.
Thank you. So let's talk about practice. How much did your son practice before he got the wedge?
Well, he was getting a bit discouraged, so he was not practicing as much as before.
How much is he practicing now?
He practices all the time.
That's pretty typical. Having better gear does not make you practice less. In fact, with better equipment, most players will practice more.
That's certainly been the case with me. In fact, you said last week that maybe I was practicing too much.
I was just thinking of your well-being. I was worried that you were overdoing it, and it might not be good for you. Yeah, that's it. I was worried about you. Anyway, I can't help but feel that it's not really fair to use something that gives you such a big advantage. It seems like cheating. Yeah. That's it. I think the wedge is a cheater mouthpiece.
Wait a minute. Are you saying I'm cheating?
Oh. No. I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about other people.
Most people think of a cheater mouthpiece as one that is used as a shortcut to better range and endurance while compromising sound. So-called cheater mouthpieces are usually small and shallow. However, your son's lead mouthpiece is a good example of a small mouthpiece that is being used appropriately. There is nothing wrong with using a small and shallow mouthpiece in some situations. The problem is when small, shallow mouthpieces are used for the wrong type of playing as a sort of crutch. That is not a good idea, and not what the wedge is about. The wedge is not designed to make up for poor range and endurance with a smaller, shallower mouthpiece. It comes in a full range of sizes.
Okay, so maybe it's not cheating. But I have another question. Do you think even though the wedge has been working really well for Carol, it could still screw up her chops?
Oh Bill, that's just silly. You've heard me play over the past 3 months. I'm killing it. Does it sound like my chops are screwed up?
Well, no.
What about Bobby's chops?
They seem fine. But someone I know told me that his cousin Mary's boyfriend said he knew someone who got a wedge. It didn't work for him, but he was really desperate to make it work, so he kept trying and trying to play it. After about 6 weeks he finally gave up. He said that they said it took him a week to get used to his old mouthpiece. He heard him play last week, and he sounded just awful.
That's interesting. I wonder why he was so desperate to make the wedge work.
Oh, I know why. He had been having major chop problems for a really long time before he ever tried the wedge.
I see. Anyone who spends a long time struggling with an unsuitable mouthpiece, or who keeps changing mouthpieces in search of the holy grail that will solve all of their playing challenges, is bound to have, or to develop, some issues.
That makes sense.
On the other hand, trying any new mouthpiece for a few days, or even a few weeks, will not cause permanent chop problems. Have you ever tried on a pair of shoes that were not very comfortable?
Remember when you went to that golf tournament with those new shoes that were just killing your feet for 18 holes?
Yes.
Did you have any lasting effects from wearing those shoes?
Well, no.
Did you have any problems going back to your 5G mouthpiece after trying the wedge?
No.
Just like wearing a pair of shoes that fit differently, there is no credible evidence that playing a curved rim will ruin your chops. What possible scientific explanation is there for such a thing? Are we genetically programmed and designed to only play on flat, round mouthpieces?
Well, maybe. I'm not sure. Is that possible?
No, it isn't. Thousands of players have used the wedge without problems since it was introduced in 2007. In fact, I believe that by reducing pressure at the vulnerable points of the embouchure at 10 and 2 o'clock, and by discouraging the use of excessive pressure, the wedge can actually decrease embouchure injuries.
Okay, but I just think it's a lot of money to spend on a mouthpiece.
The wedge costs more than some other mouthpieces and less than others, the reason for the higher price point being its high production cost. The complex rim and cup shape require more sophisticated equipment and far more time to machine and buff than a conventional mouthpiece. In the end, you have to distinguish between price and value. For most players, the investment in a wedge mouthpiece will not only provide better results than a comparably priced conventional mouthpiece, but also better results than what they would get from a much more expensive horn upgrade. What would it be worth to you to add 2 to 3 notes to your range and 30% to your endurance, along with better sound?
Oh, wow. I would pay a ton of money for that. I would have kept the wedge for sure if it did that for me.
But honey, that's exactly what the wedge did for Bobby and me.
Yes, I know.
I do understand that paying over $200 for a mouthpiece you have never tried seems risky. However, with free shipping options, our 90-day return policy, and our lifetime trade-in program, we make trying a wedge as risk-free as possible.
But what if Bobby gets addicted to the wedge? What if he wants to change all of his other mouthpieces?
Some players do mix the wedge rim with others and go back and forth without difficulty. However, most players who convert to the wedge rim eventually change all their mouthpieces. If he does want more mouthpieces, we have a 10% discount on the second mouthpiece.
Actually, I was thinking about getting another wedge for my other horn. I've improved so much on the wedge that the conductor is talking about moving me from second to first trombone in the orchestra. I'm so excited. I've been stuck on second forever.
I'm not sure he will do that though. There have already been some other big changes in the trombone section. A few months ago our third trombone player was injured in a freak accident. He'll be okay, but he is taking some time off, so we had to get a replacement.
Oh dear. I think I heard about that. What happened?
It seems he was out delivering a pizza on his scooter. He swerved into oncoming traffic while trying to avoid a squirrel on the road. They were both hit by a car. Sadly, the squirrel didn't make it.
The bass trombone player in the orchestra was very upset. He's such a sensitive person about some things.
Yes, he said it was such a waste of good pizza.
That is very understandable. What a sad story.
Yes. Personally, I don't care about the pizza, but I really like squirrels. I'm glad Tommy is going to be okay though.
I also know that orchestra politics can be very tricky. How would the principal trombone player feel about getting bumped down to second?
That's a very good question. Sometimes I think it could be a problem. I'm not sure, so maybe I should just ask. Honey, how would you feel about moving down to second?
I guess that would be okay.